California legalized recreational marijuana in 2016. It was supposed to decrease crime. Instead, it caused more crime and lots of other issues. Welcome to America Uncovered. I'm Chris Chappell. 2016 was a big year for marijuana, and not just because a bunch of people chain smoked it after Donald Trump won the election. Nearly 1/5 of U.S. states had voted to decriminalize cannabis and allow citizens to use it for recreational purposes by the end of 2016. FYI, if you smoke weed, even legally, even with a prescription, it's illegal for you to own guns. Check out our recent episode on that. And California legalized weed with the passing of Proposition 64. Since then, legal weed has become so mainstream that even Justin Bieber got in on it with his own line of Peaches pre-rolled joints. I hear that once you hit it, you'll sleep like a baby, 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 oh. A big selling point for Prop 64 in California was that by legalizing marijuana, it would supposedly decrease crime and cartel activity within the U.S. I mean, that's what a study said. But 6 years later, turns out the opposite is true. It turns out growing weed legally is expensive. You have to follow all sorts of environmental regulations and even pay your taxes. But now that selling weed is legal, well, it makes a lot of sense to grow it under the radar. And that's why drug cartels from Mexico, Armenia, and China have gotten involved and turned Northern California into the Wild West, and turned national forests into war zones. I guess we should have seen this coming. After all, the Wild West and war zones are usually the settings for video games stoners love to play. According to a Los Angeles County Sheriff's lieutenant, we have murder, robbery, and assault. They've killed people. We've had workers killed, innocent civilians shot at, and people chased in their cars. If anyone comes close to these farms, they're playing with fire, which is especially dangerous to do in California forests. The cartels have also resorted to kidnapping and human trafficking to get workers for these farms. They use workers who are indentured servants that came across the border and would be told they'd be working in Central California on a farm and instead end up in the desert on a marijuana grove. And several of these workers have died due to the dangerous working conditions. But I guess it could be worse. I mean, at least they weren't sent to Martha's Vineyard. Illegal grows are springing up in rural communities across the state. Residents in these places describe living in fear next to heavily armed camps. Criminal enterprises operate with near impunity, leasing private land and rapidly building out complexes of as many as 100 greenhouses. These illegal farms have also taken over native lands. The director of one Native American reservation said, "We have been totally overrun. Not just this reservation, but also this whole valley." Authorities are attempting to destroy cartels' illegal cannabis farms, but there are too many. It's like playing whack-a-mole while stoned. Police are overwhelmed, able to raid only a fraction of the farms. It's hard to say exactly how many illegal farms there are. One estimate based on satellite images is that illegal farms outnumber licensed farms 10 to 1. And the ones that are destroyed are often back up and running within days. Because if California loves anything, it's pop-up shops. And violent crime isn't the only issue the legalization of marijuana has caused in California. I'll tell you more after the break. Welcome back. California's Prop 64 legalized cannabis in California, but ironically, it led to an explosion of illegal growing sites in the state. This has led to all sorts of violent crime. And it's also led to environmental issues. Cartel-backed pot farms are stealing millions of gallons of water across the state. And California already has a serious drought problem. This lack of water is especially cruel since smoking weed gives you cotton mouth. You'd think state prosecutors would do more to stop this water theft, but they're refusing to charge these farms for this and other environmental infractions. Why? Well, in one case, LA County's drug investigators uncovered an illegal grow ring with $1.4 billion of marijuana, 40 firearms, and enough hazardous pesticides for 270,000 plants, which also leaked into the groundwater. But the district attorney refused to file felony charges. The LA Sheriff's Department said the filing DA and the presiding judge said the case was overcharged by using the felony section. That's right. They said that stealing millions of gallons of water and trashing the environment wasn't enough to constitute a felony. That might be because Prop 64 reduced the charge of illegally growing marijuana from a felony, punishable by prison time, to a misdemeanor with a $500 fine, no matter how large the crop. Even, apparently, $1.4 billion worth. I just didn't realize that any felony you committed while growing cannabis was now also considered a misdemeanor. Does that mean you can cheat on your taxes as long as it's taxes for your weed farm? Prop 64 has also caused economic hardships for countless farmers who are trying to grow marijuana legally. Small licensed cannabis farmers are facing financial ruin. By being licensed, they have to keep up with strict state regulations, something illegal growers don't have to worry about. Prop 64 has actually made it more enticing to grow marijuana illegally, especially if you want to cheat on your taxes. One small farmer said, "I'm afraid that I am one bad piece of news away from having to list my property and abandon my dream, life, everything I have fought for." Because of all these issues, it's no wonder some people are now calling for the recriminalization of marijuana in California. But at this point, the weed genie is out of the bong. Because if California makes marijuana illegal again, the Attorney General would have to throw countless people in prison just for pot. And I wouldn't want to do that. I mean, who am I? Kamala Harris? So what do you think? What can California do about all these issues that popped up after they legalized marijuana? Leave your comments below. And remember, America Uncovered is supported mainly by our viewers. Be sure to visit patreon.com/AmericaUncovered. Contribute $1 or more per episode. We rely on your support to help us keep making great episodes. Or join our exclusive censorship-free social media community on Locals. Check out AmericaUncovered.locals.com. Once again, I'm Chris Chappell. Thanks for watching America Uncovered.